Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, in the spirit of the fresh start of our calendar year, we're talking about resolutions, and not those work out more, eat better resolutions. Those are important too, but we asked you and some of our past podcast guests for your resolutions for Pittsburgh. And with the CityCast team sharing what changes you want to see in the city we call home in 2023. It's Tuesday, January 3rd. I'm Morgan Moody, and this is CityCast Pittsburgh.
Hi, this is Natalie Bensavenga. I'm a journalist here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I live in Forest Hills, and my hope or resolution for the city of Pittsburgh in 2023 is that we can live up to the idea of being the most livable city by actually employing policies that center and uplift the most vulnerable. I know we can do it. 2023, it can be a great year.
Thank you to Natalie, one of our past podcast guests, and thank you to everyone for sending your New Year's resolutions for the city of Pittsburgh, your hopes for the city in 2023. I'm with lead producer Mallory Falk.
Hello.
Hello. Newsletter editor Francesca DeBecco.
Hey.
And audio producer Elizabeth Kama.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
We made it. We made it.
2023.
Woot woot.
Did any of you get the glasses for this year?
No.
Every year I keep thinking they can't do it, and they keep making
finding
them.
Another way to make those numbers into eyes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's their resolution. Every year we'll find a way. But we wanted to weigh in on the conversation too. Mallory, what's your resolution for the city in 2023?
Yeah, so my hope for Pittsburgh, I'm not super confident it's going to happen, but it's the start of the year. We're allowed to dream semi-big, is that Pittsburgh really ups its public transit game. Ooh. I know we have some very resilient city buses here. Like we've had a bus rise up from a sinkhole, a bus rise up from the Fernolo Bridge. But this year I would just love to see more bus routes and buses running more frequently. I, traveled out of town for the holidays and found myself really wishing for a high-speed rail line from the city to the airport. We all know that's a pretty big schlep.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, so I'd love to just see more options for people who either don't have access to cars or just don't want to rely on cars to get around.
Or even just extend the T line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is somewhat related to my resolution, which does have to do with, having to rely on a car to get around, which is finally to get 28's construction done and have it feel safer. I always feel like there's a delay or an accident. It's like, okay, it should take me 20 minutes to get here, but, I always allot the 20 minutes for 28 to mess up my day.
28 minutes?
The 28 minutes that 28 takes out of my day.
I'm realizing how Pittsburgh this is to start our conversation about what we hope for the city with just complaints about traffic and congestion, but it's real.
It's on brand.
Infrastructure. Yeah.
But, the thing is that even if the city, gets better public transit, fixes its roads, we need to have, enticing places for people to want to travel to, whether by car or bus or the T. And so some of the resolutions that we heard from all of you have to do with hoping Pittsburgh becomes just a little more vibrant in 2023. So we had somebody submit a resolution. They asked to be anonymous. I think maybe they didn't want to put the city on blast and then tie their name to it. But they wrote in, I really hope Pittsburgh's downtown turns into a lively city 24/7, especially after sunset. The central city looks so boring, and sometimes I feel like I'm driving or walking in a zombie land when it's dark.
So true.
Yeah.
I can say, as a resident, it's busy. It is very busy. There's games and there's people down here for Penguins games, when the Pirates are playing in season, obviously when the Steelers are playing. There's people down here, but there's not enough to do.
And they're also dealing with, the amount of people who aren't going downtown anymore to work in the office. We know a lot of people are working remotely. So downtown has changed. I know it's going to be more residential, so maybe you will see more people out and maybe there will be more life and light
Yeah.
about town once more people are living there.
It would also be nice to have, I mean, the buses are great coming into town, depending on where you live, but like it would also be nice to have some better transportation to get you in town so that you didn't have to park and get all these tickets.
Get all these tickets or drain your entire bank account to just find a lot.
Not in 2023. I'm putting my foot down this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Francesca, you do raise a good point that I know there is really this vision toward taking some of these buildings in downtown that might never get office workers back and create housing, including more affordable housing downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, that would be a wonderful thing to see in 2023, just creating more housing for folks and finding good uses for some of these buildings that might never return to what they were, before the pandemic.
Yeah, and we had one reader from our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. Shout out to Francesca's amazing work.
And her amazing audience.
Yeah, truly.
Yes, thank you to our readers for submitting. It was so kind of you.
Yeah, so Maria Caparetta said, I'm really hoping and wishing for a dance club / bar for people my age, 45 to 65 range. There is not a place in Pittsburgh to go and dance. You may be too young to remember Chauncey's and Metropool. We who frequented those dance clubs are now over 50 and we still want to dance. But there is not a place for us to go. This is my wish for 2023.
Wow, that's such a good one.
That is a really good one.
I didn't even think about this.
Yeah, you can't club without being, with a bunch of like 20-somethings, which is great to be around people so young. But sometimes, you kind of want to crowd your own age. I get that, Maria.
Yeah, we don't need to be ageist here in Pittsburgh. Everyone deserves to dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone deserves an all ages Chauncey's, which when I saw this submission, this is driving me crazy. This is my request to listeners. I had this unlocked memory of some radio ad for Chauncey's that aired back in the day, but I cannot seem to track this down through a very simple, very minimal Google search. So if anybody can confirm that this ad exists and I'm not just making it up in my head, please let us know.
Yeah,
Yes.
Send it to Pittsburgh@citycast.fm.
But if you are, going out dancing, there aren't really that many places to get food. Afterwards, Pittsburgh, please get more food.
That's late night eats is a huge problem here.
That is so true, Elizabeth. It's been almost a year since the Eaton Park in Squirrel Hill closed.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
That place was a staple for breakfast during the day or late at night.
Late night grilled stickies, nothing competes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I still don't think Pittsburghers have recovered from that one.
Yeah, the writer Damon Young actually came on our show last January to eulogize that Eaton Park, and he sent us this resolution.
Hey, yeah, this is Damon Young, representing the North Side and the East End, and I guess my resolution for Pittsburgh for 2023 is to just have a restaurant or two that is open past 7 o'clock on a weekday. That is not a 24-hour Wendy's or Eaton Park. I want to be able to go somewhere and eat before 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. That is all I want from the city of Pittsburgh in 2023. I do not have high hopes for racial reconciliation, for social justice, but I do want Pittsburgh to do the citizens of this city this one minor thing. Keep restaurants the fuck open past 6:30. Goodbye.
That was amazing.
So the other Eaton Parks aren't cutting it for Damon, and, nothing's risen up to fill the void of that Squirrel Hill location.
There might not be a restaurant to fill the void at 2 or 3 in the morning that Eaton Park is leaving for us. But there are a bunch of really amazing, restaurant shops and stuff that could fill another void in your heart. So I guess we just got to explore outside of our neighborhoods.
Hi, I'm Brian Teslip, editor of Next Pittsburgh. My resolution is that we all cross a bridge to visit a restaurant or shop we haven't been to before.
I mean, I know Pittsburghers have these hang-ups where it feels so far to cross a bridge, and that's me. But I think that's a really nice resolution to have. And one of my resolutions for the city of Pittsburgh this year is to be better neighbors to our unhoused neighbors. We need some better practices for that. They cleared a lot of the encampments downtown and even on the North Shore, before some of these shelters were open for the season. And it got colder, pretty early. We had a pretty early cold snap, and it left a lot of people scrambling to get a bed before some of these shelters were at capacity. Second Avenue Commons was filled as soon as they opened. And
that brand new shelter that's designed to be kind of have fewer barriers for people to be able to stay than some of the other spots. Yeah, like you said, filled up so fast.
Right. And they also have, UPMC operating a clinic out of that shelter so people can, continue their healthcare plans while they're living there. Those are the sort of resources that people, need access to, their healthcare, both for their physical health and their mental health, and a network of people, that they can also connect to. So that's really why we really should be a lot kinder to our neighbors. We had Julius Boatwright of Still Smiling. That's an organization here that focuses on mental health in the Black community, also like building support networks for people to have.
He was a great podcast guest too. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen.
Yeah, it was a really great and insightful and thoughtful conversation. Here's what he had to say.
My hope for the city of Pittsburgh for 2023 is that we really start to build upon this idea of collective care. I think that the pandemic really brought about this like self-care movement. It really like amplified it. Take care of you. And I believe in the power of self-care. I also think what we need to get back to is collective care. So what could that look like for our city? It could be connecting with a group of people who are committed to being there for you to the best of their ability. People that at least say, hey, if there's the 5 of us, we want to make sure at least one of us is available if one person out of the group is struggling with something. When you're in a crisis or when you're dealing with something, that's not the time where you want to be thinking about, is anybody there for me? Or do I have anybody who cares? It's the time where you want to think, I have my collective care circle and somebody is here for me. So I hope we can uplift that collective care approach and just like support each other, support your neighbor, support the person who's right in front of you.
Yeah, that's such an important goal or hope for the city this year. Francesca, what's your Pittsburgh resolution?
So my hope for Pittsburgh is that everyone starts to explore the city like a tourist. Treat your weekends like a vacation and your city like a destination. If you read my newsletter, Hey Pittsburgh, you know that I do weekly neighborhood guides, and I've been having so much fun learning about our city, its history, charm, and the people who call it home, and all of the corners of our community. So I'd love for you to join me in 2023.
I will.
I love that goal.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's so sweet. And also, if you, can't join her for whatever reason, read her neighborhood guides. They're fantastic, and they're a way to learn so much more about the place that we call home.
It kind of makes you feel like you're getting out without having to step out into the cold.
Yeah. That's
who would like to stay bundled up and warm.
And if we're exploring our city, we want it to be clean and safe. And one of our guests this year, Laura Zarowski, aka Missteps, our city step expert here, she submitted her resolution. And she said, in 2023, I hope even more people get involved with stewarding our streets and city steps. Great progress can be made when residents take an active role in advocating for safe and clean streets and infrastructure that makes it easier to get around. Activities such as litter pickup, reporting issues to 311, or getting involved with the neighborhood association or local nonprofit makes a world of a difference and doesn't even require much time.
Yeah, more hands make less work, as the old idiom goes.
So true.
I feel like you just transformed into a preschool teacher in front of our eyes.
We also heard from Suzanne Perino from the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra.
I would love for the city of Pittsburgh to talk about itself in a broader, bigger vision, because we should be proud of everything that we have here in Pittsburgh and talk about it and share it with the world.
Yeah, she's right. We have so much to be proud of. And, one of the biggest things that I love about Pittsburgh is our history of kindness with Mr. Rogers. And being kind to one another really goes a long way.
I'm Amy Jackson, and I drive the Collier Christmas bus, and my resolution for the year would be just to make everybody happy.
I'm Brian Butko, Director of Publications at the Heinz History Center. And my wish for the new year and every year is that we can all just get along.
Yeah, don't be a jagoff in 2023. It's not that hard, but cheers to the new year. And we certainly hope all of your New Year's resolutions come true for the city of Pittsburgh in 2023. It's a new year, and we hope one of your resolutions is to get to know our wonderful city better. Is there something you'd like to learn more about, like where to get the best dumplings in Pittsburgh, or why there's dinosaurs all over the city? Let us know. Here's how you can send in story ideas. First, give us a call. Leave us a voicemail at 412-212-8893. Maybe we'll even play it on the pod. Or if you're a little microphone shy, you can send us an email. Our address is pittsburgh@citycast.fm. And finally, if a great idea comes to you while you're scrolling on your feed and you just don't want to wait, send us a DM. We're on Twitter and Instagram at CityCastPGH. We're so excited to see what local stories you want to hear in the new year. That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city, so we'll see you then.
We're all just preschoolers stumbling through life.
True.